Hey guys, welcome. Today we are going to be breaking down one of our recent flips. My first flip actually, 9330 South Aberdeen in the Washington Heights neighborhood of Chicago. Today I have with me my partner on that deal, Mr. J Budzik III. He is a real estate managing broker, owns his own brokerage, and a savvy investor. So today we're going to break down this deal, how I got into it with none of my own money out of pocket. I never swung a hammer. I only went to the property to share with you guys on social media. So we're going to talk about how I was able to accomplish this today and why Steve decided to partner with me on the deal. So we'll go ahead and get started. Steve, hello, good morning. Happy Independence Day. How are you?
Great, man. Thanks for having me on. Excited, and good morning and happy 4th to you as well.
Awesome. Today's actually my son's birthday. So I'm pretty excited that all my kids actually have holiday birthdays. So we're going to be partying it up shortly after we get done here. You have any plans for today?
You know what? We were going to go to, our kids love parks, so we were going to go to the Forge in Lamont, which is like a massive park for kids and adults.
Very nice. I always see you on social media. You're like just a big kid, like running around. I'm not sure how you do it at our age, but you are definitely an inspiration of a father and an investor. So I'm excited to break down this deal for people and just really share how others can do what we've done in this scenario. So how did you get started in real estate, Steve?
So I got started by going to a Rich Dad Poor Dad event. I went to that event. I met two business partners there that were the owners and founders of iCandy Homes, and the rest is history, right? Started working with them, providing value to them. That's how I did. I exchanged my time for knowledge and learned everything that I know today from them and growing their company.
Very nice. Wow. So when was this? Like what year?
That was, well, let's see. That was like 2011 and 12. I was working as a paramedic on an ambulance. We were running 24-hour shifts, and I got my real estate broker's license and then basically started working with them. I mean, my story is I put up, the roadside signs, the We Buy Houses signs.
Yeah.
Every Friday night at, what was it, like 9, 10 o'clock till 3 in the morning. I would put up those signs, and then I would field all the calls, and we just created an amazing relationship. And that was my way of giving to them. And in exchange for that, I was able to gain a ton of knowledge and learn the entire business.
Wow. True hustler there. Bandit signs. It's incredible. Over a decade in real estate, and you've obviously learned a lot since then. I mean, breaking down this deal on Aberdeen, so I found this deal through a PPC lead, and I called him up, very motivated seller, and he wanted to get rid of it. He was moving to, I think, Tennessee, a suburb out of Nashville, and he was just ready to go. So we were able to lock this deal up at a good price. I had some wholesale buyers going through the property, and I invited you to come check it out as well. What made you interested in this deal and want to move forward on it?
Well, in terms of like the property itself, great block. These are the things that you have to look for in Chicago, in my opinion. All brick, significantly bigger than majority of the houses in the area, in great condition, super solid, right? This was nowhere near a full gut rehab, so easy in terms of the rehab, and the ARV was still very affordable, right? I kind of told you this in the very beginning, is a buyer is going to get a great bang for their buck, and the end buyer was thinking exactly that, right? They had a growing family, and so they appreciated the size of this house because they knew that they could grow into it, right? So this was a 5-bedroom, 3 full bathroom, finished basement, right? It had all of the aspects of it and the components to really make it a great deal. Obviously, you locked it up at a great price, and we were able to come in there and take care of the rehab.
Absolutely. And one of the things I really liked about this deal, and I also learned, is we don't always have to do the top of the market ARV on a deal. You taught me that, hey, we can go in there and just kind of spruce things up a little bit, make it nice, touch some things up, and just get that middle of the market price, which is exactly what we did. I mean, we got the purchase at 166. What would you say the rehab cost was on this deal?
Well, the rehab cost, as I told you, we rolled in all the cost, right? From the grass cutting to the insurance to the utilities to everything. We were, I think it came in a little over $30,000. It was between $30,000 and $31,000 was the exact total all in for all of that. So if we're just talking about the rehab, we were probably closer to, $29,000 to $30,000 just for the rehab.
Wow, and that's incredible. So for those of you wondering, like, is that a lot or not? Check out this property online. It's huge. 9330 South Aberdeen. 30,000 for a property that size is impressive, even for a cosmetic flip. So we were able to exit at 279 with the full price offer. We did have a couple credits that we provided to the seller, a couple little last minute things that we had to fix, but that's included in that renovation budget. We did a pretty good number on this deal. So I think it was around 40,000 net that we had together.
Yeah, it was 41. They did that escrow holdback for the water, so I think it ended up being a little over $41,000 net.
41,000.
Yeah. You look at that, and I know people are wanting to make a lot more, but they don't factor in all of the costs, right? So we're talking about net profit on a property that we literally were closed to close in, I think it was 92 days.
Yeah.
Right around there, right? So very fast moving, super fast. And truthfully, I told you this in the beginning, we weren't even really pushing our guys to get it rehabbed faster because we knew we were up against that 90-day anti-flip rule. So we were kind of dragging our feet, although we were able to secure a conventional buyer at the end of the day. So yeah.
Awesome. Now, for people who don't know, would you mind explaining what is the 90-day anti-flip rule? Because I think that's very important.
Yeah, so two things. So I'll touch on the 90 anti-flip rule. So for areas, I would say a good portion of the marketplace that we were operating in is majority FHA buyers, right? They're using an FHA loan. It's federally, Federal Housing Administration, right? It's backed by the government essentially. And so buyers are using that loan. There's a guideline. There's two guidelines. The first guideline is that the property cannot be resold within 90 days. And what does that mean, resold? That means the lender cannot start the file, meaning you cannot have an acceptance date on the contract. You as the seller cannot have an acceptance date until the 91st day, right? Because the lender can't get what's called an FHA case number. So there's that rule. And then there's the 180-day rule, or the double, if you're selling it for 100% of the original acquisition price within 6 months, right? So let's say you bought the property for 100 and you were selling it for 201, you're selling it for double the original price.
Right.
You can't do that without a double appraisal. So there's those two rules, and don't think that you're going to get around these rules. Be upfront with the lenders, be upfront with the agent and the buyers, because it's only going to cause delays and issues on the back end.
Yes, very, very important. I think it's also notable that when you are flipping the property, you have to consider, like, hey, is it worth waiting for an FHA buyer, or should we just go ahead and push it to the conventional? Because during that time you're waiting to try and get that top dollar from FHA, you still have taxes, you still have utilities, you still have maintenance with the grass cutting and all of that. So those are important things to factor in when you're deciding, hey, am I going to try and wait it out for an FHA, or am I okay with a conventional buyer? And I think our buyer on this deal originally was an FHA buyer, but we ended up giving him the credits, right? To help lower that cost for the conventional loan instead. Is that correct?
That is correct. They did want to go FHA because FHA has a lower interest rate. There are some negatives to using an FHA mortgage, but the big advantage right now is that typically if you're comparing the borrowers, they will get a lower interest rate using the FHA loan. Something that I want to touch on too is what you said is, not rehabbing it to this super top of the market ARV. And right now in that area, those high price point homes are sitting on the market, right? So It's all about strategy, and you can rehab anything, any property in any market to a specific buyer pool, right? As long as that buyer is there. And we knew we did a nice job on the property, and it was a big property. So although it was only $30,000 in cosmetic updates, we're talking about a 1,700 square foot house plus a 1,200 square foot basement that we touched everything in every room. So I just wanted to add that in there.
Absolutely. What are some of the things that we updated in that property? Can you go over like just a quick overview of the list?
Yeah, I mean, so the basics are right. We painted the entire property if we start from the basement up. So we replaced all the baseboard and a couple of doors in the basement, finished off the laundry room, right? It was just a painted floor where we put vinyl and just finishing off all of the unfinished areas. We always get an HVAC certification. We replaced all the outlets, the switches, the cover plates. There was a bunch of can lights. We put the LED trims in, new light fixtures. On the first floor had most of the first floor was hardwood, so we refinished the hardwood. We added a little butler station in the dining room. We had some accent walls on the front door, one of the walls, and then the fireplace and the in the family room. And then going into the kitchen wasn't totally finished off, where the refrigerator was kind of a standalone refrigerator. And so we encapsulated that in fridge panels and cabinets, and added crown and added hardware. And going into the garage, we had to do some work in the garage a little bit, and on the exterior we had to do some tuck pointing and put a chimney cap on and some caulking. And a lot of it was fine tuning details, but those details are really what makes the house totally complete. The master bath was totally inoperable, right? So we had to bring in a tub, redo the plumbing, finish off the tile work, change the vanity in one of the bathrooms. So a majority of the work was that fine-tuning details, right? The caulking, the painting, the siliconing, the making sure that when the buyer hires their home inspector, that it's smooth sailing. And we still had a pretty picky buyer, but I feel that we were able to still keep the deal together, which at the end of the day is the most important thing.
Absolutely. Now, everything turned out well. Let's talk about, what was the benefit to you in this deal? Why did you decide to partner with me? Why do you partner with wholesalers in general? Because for those of you who don't know, Steve ran the entire project, right? He managed the contractors. He made sure the work was done properly. He managed the inspections. He brought the money to the table, right? All I did was lock up a contract at a good price. So look, Steve, let's talk about why it was advantageous for you to partner with me.
Yeah, everybody has their strengths, right? And our strength, or something that we don't focus on, is getting deals, right? I'm not spending money on marketing. You are, right? I'm not talking to sellers every day. You are, right? So while you say, you just locked it up, that's a lot of work, right? That's a lot of value to me. And then on the flip side, you're maybe thinking the same thing, right? These guys are rehabbing it and they're doing this. That's easy to us though, right? Because we do it every day. We send our guys there. We have a list of all of the subcontractors that we would use. So it was just a great partnership, in my opinion, because we don't partner with every wholesaler. I've always told you this from day one when I met you: extremely ethical, just a super solid, good guy, right? So that's very, very important, because any partnership, it's like a marriage for that period of that partnership. So, but again, you brought the deal to the table. That's something that we don't focus on, right? Again, we're not spending the money on pay-per-click ads and doing all that research and talking to those sellers and meeting and negotiating and doing all that. But what's easy for us is to bring the money to the table, right? And we have all the guys, and then we co-listed it on the listing side. I know Weston jumped in still and met the buyers out there and things like that, but we did what's easy to us, and you did what's easy to you, and it creates a perfect synergy. And again, you're a great guy, so very easy to work with, right? There's no, let's counter them at this or let's counter them at that. You were very willing, and it was very smooth, right? There was no stops or blocks from start to finish.
Yes, and I love that. And honestly, I was just excited to learn and kind of get a inside look at the flip process. Even though I didn't do much, it was fun. You know, I really enjoyed it. My family enjoyed it. I got to take my son and say, "Hey, this is our house." We're flipping this, and I took him out there a couple times, and he got to see some of the progress, and it was an incredible experience, to say the least.
That's all.
It was also my very first listing. So I'm a managing broker here in Illinois, but I've never listed a property. I've never represented a buyer on a property. This is my first retail transaction on our own flip. So I thought that was pretty cool as
Nice.
well.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was great. And again, it's cool, right? You're able to learn, you're able to go through the process from start to finish. And again, it's about the long term, not the short term, because I know you're in the business full time. You know, I'm in the business full time. So if we can do this over and over and over, it's a win-win for everybody.
Incredible. Well, Steve, so you do this all the time. I'm not the first guy you've done this with. I see you every day out at a different project, different properties. What is the biggest contribution to your success thus far in your career?
Um, I would say just having the right mindset, right? That is the biggest contribution to my success. I've had a business coach my entire journey, right? And it wasn't something that was always a day-to-day interaction, but I've always had somebody where I could go to and ask questions. But and the biggest contribution is getting really for them to have me see a different viewpoint in just life in general, right? And
Right.
just your mindset. And I know it sounds so kind of like cheesy. Oh, you got to be positive and have the right mindset. And people think, it's not true. You don't need a coach or a mentor, but you'll get stuck, man. You'll get stuck in life. And it's not saying that I got stuck in real estate deals. It's your mindset that will drive you through those hard times, right? Or through those barriers or those fences that we all put up for ourselves, right? We all have our own blocks in our life. And that was the biggest thing, is just to shift my mindset to see that, it's me. I'm responsible for everything. I'm creating everything good and bad that's happening in my life. And I can change any outcome, right? And so that was the biggest shift, because when you have that can-do attitude, but really know that you can do it, not like a BS rah-rah in a room, that's the biggest difference, because you can go through any good day or bad day and you can keep going. And that creates the consistency that everybody needs, and that a lot of people lack because of social media and how easy other people make it look. I always use Grant
Right.
Cardone as an example. Grant Cardone, the guy's still hustling today, and he's been hustling for the last 20 years. If you hear his life story, it's
Right.
not like he just came up on this fame and owns all this real estate and has the plane and has this and has that. He's still showing up every single day. You're talking about 2 decades, 3 decades later, he's still pushing. And that's the biggest contribution to my success.
I agree 100%. And I think it's really hard, especially for the new guys, to understand that. I was in the boat of, hey, let me just do a few deals. I'll work on the mindset later. And it's not how it works. What will end up happening, you might see a little bit of success. You might close a few deals, but you're not ready for that success without the mindset. You won't grow. You won't be able to empower others, and you won't build the network that you need in order to build a business, right? A business is a system that operates with or without you. You cannot do that without perfecting your mindset. You will lose
Yep.
hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more. And that was my case, right? I lost well over $100,000 learning the hard way, being cheap and not paying for mentorship. I wish I can go back and pay the $5,000 that some of the gentlemen that are in the business offered to coach me for, right? Because looking back, that's an incredible deal. What did we just
Yeah.
made 40K on this deal, right? That's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
right? Because how many more deals could I have done in the past 6 years had I gotten that mentorship, right?
True.
It just, you have to perfect the mindset. And it's not just in business, it's in your entire life, discipline, management, right? You have to, you really have to be there. And like you said, show up every single day, ready to grow with an open mind, ready to learn, being humble, all of that. So thank you for sharing, Steve. That was really great. I appreciate it, and I know exactly what you're talking about when you say mindset. So, we've shared kind of how you got to this point in your career. I'm curious, what's next for you? What kind of goals do you have going on in the future?
Goals are continue to do rehabs. I know the market's, a little shifty right now, right? So basically to stay the course of what I'm currently doing. I've got some new construction going on in Florida.
Ooh,
I'm venturing into the multifamily space and game, but I'm not doing so without continuing to hit my daily targets of what I'm doing here, right? Because I'm a believer you can't just drop one thing and start a new thing. So keep going, right? Keep partnering with guys like you. Our goal is to do a minimum of one rehab a month, which I think is like super easy, obtainable, and we're hitting that as of right now. And then we still have our transactional side. We're doing a couple of fix and lists, a couple of retails a month. And then again, like I said, we're venturing into other states and other areas of real estate. And the biggest thing is to just have fun. Like, I'm having a lot of fun at what I'm doing. It's not work waking up in the morning. It's not a drag. And as long as you continue to have that view, and your team, right, your team members also have to have that view because they're pushing with you.
right.
So those are my long and short term goals right now.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you want to talk about it on here or not, but I recall you saying that you were doing some stuff internationally. Like, you want to share?
Oh, I mean, I put the brakes on it a little bit, but
Hmm.
really it was more of a just on the investing side, right? It would be just bringing the money to a
Oh,
deal where it was I had the ability to park money, outside of the U.S. to protect that money. I am still in a deal currently right now in Puerto Rico.
okay.
About to finish that one up. But again, those are just great avenues where you can park money and it can work for you daily. Some people buy rentals, right? I sold a lot of my rentals. Will likely buy more in the very, very near future. I've got stuff under contract right now, but
Ooh,
you know, that's the great thing about real estate, right? You can make money in so many different avenues in so many ways, but you've got to just pick a few and become great at those before you start, making these new ventures. Otherwise, you're kind of okay in a lot of areas and you have an understanding, but you haven't made any money, right,
right.
in any one area. So that was
Absolutely.
the long-winded international answer.
Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. You have any advice for people who are just getting started?
Just getting started, I tell this to everybody, and you said it already. Find a mentor. Like, find somebody that you can provide value to. In exchange, they can give you the knowledge. You might even have to pay them and provide value, right? Because some people have so much to offer that it would make you a criminal by just taking everything from them and you not giving back. I talk about this all the time. Relationships like a bank. If you're just going to go to the bank and make withdrawals, you're going to go bankrupt. You've got to make the deposits, right? You've
Right.
got to give back. That's how I started. I'm a big believer of that's really how you can expand your network and create long-term relationships. But find somebody in the business and partner with them, utilize them as a mentor, see what they need. That's what I would do. That's what I did. And that's what I tell everybody, because everybody's going to all these classes and these seminars and they're great. They're amazing. I would say do that too if you want, but you need hands-on. You need the hands-on in this
It's where
business
the
because
rubber meets the road.
Yeah, you're going to read the book, you're going to take the class, and then you're going to go out and you're going to meet a block. And if you don't have anybody to go to handle that block will remain. For most, that block will remain and they will quit. For
Right.
most, not everybody. Some people will go through and find a way, but majority will stop. So,
And if you find a way, it's going to be expensive. You're going to pay
Exactly.
one way or another. You're going to pay in
Exactly.
mistakes, or you're going to pay for mentorship and coaching.
Yep. You're going to do a bad deal. You're going to do a deal that makes no money, which if you make no money, by the way, you lost money. So find a mentor. That would be 100%. That'll be the fastest way. I mean, look at what a professional athlete does. They're not training alone. They're not training in their basement. Again,
Exactly.
most, right? Unless you're, I don't know. I'm sure there's a couple of guys out there, right? But there's, it's the path of least resistance, and it's the way to get to your end goal fastest, in my opinion.
Okay. Awesome. What is your favorite real estate book?
I'm not a big book guy, but the book that I did read that got me started was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Okay.
It was the book that opened my mind to, wow, I didn't even know this existed. And then I went to a 3-day, and it led me down the path of where I'm at today.
Now,
And
everything.
it's simple.
Yes.
It's a simple book.
Yes. I love that book. Robert Kiyosaki. He was also a Marine. He was a Marine pilot. So I resonate with him on that. Everything we talked about today. I mean, real estate's a fun game. There's good times. There's bad times. I have one question for you. Is it worth it?
Yeah. 100%.
There we go.
I mean, and that's why I was a paramedic before this. I worked construction. I worked in the hospital, but everywhere I worked, for me, there was a ceiling, right? There's a ceiling when you're working in some corporation or for somebody else, right? Most of the time. And I wanted to remove that ceiling. I wanted to have my own schedule, create my own path. And I had one plan. I had only plan A. That was it, right?
There you go.
So 100% it was worth it. And also for those that are working, because sometimes I'll have a lot of agents that are coming into business and, I want to get into real estate. I tell them, do not give up your day job, right? Until you can supplement your income from what you're doing. Because again, most people aren't in a position to just drop their income. And a lot of people don't have the discipline or the willingness or the stamina to stay the course, right? So if you have that, then go for it. But if you're like, I've got a family and I have bills, keep your day job, start this other venture until this starts bringing in income, and then you can slowly remove the day job. But I love what I do. It's amazing.
Incredible. Well, Steve, thank you for sharing everything today. I really appreciate you taking the time on your holiday to be here and share with everybody watching. Where can people find out more about you? Where can people connect with you?
I mean, anywhere, right? Quick Google search, Facebook, Instagram, Steve Budzik, cell phone number 630-935-0700. But a quick Google search, send me a DM. I always respond to everybody and anybody. I'm sure everyone knows that has messaged me. And hey, I always say, you have any real estate questions, give me a buzz.
Give him a buzz. He is the real estate expert here in Chicago. So I'm always calling him myself, even after 6 years in business, asking him questions all the time. And like he said, he always responds. He's always giving well thought out, comprehensive answers. He is a true guru of the game. So thank you, Steve, for being here. Enjoy the holiday, enjoy the park with your kiddos, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, dude. See ya. Thanks.